Hello, and welcome to my channel. Hey everybody, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and today I'm doing a slight twist on the why you should read, and instead I'm going to doing should you read. And if you look right behind me, you'll see Joe Abercrombie's first Law trilogy. Now, I know I'm super late to the party, but I just finished The Last Argument of Kings, and I figured I'd give my immediate reaction. Now, obviously, First Law's been around for a while, and, you know, The Blade itself being a debut novel, I believe, for Joe Abercrombie, it is incredibly well written. Joe Abercrombie is the king of character writing. I believe I saw somewhere where somebody said you could have somebody read a line from a POV character to you, and you would know, without being told, who that was. The characters just drip off the page. His character work is probably second to none. That said, it is a grimdark series, and that entails just betrayal, torture, rape, just so many dark themes. Also, if you're uncomfortable with detailed sex scenes, that's also in this series as well. I kind of did a hybrid with this where I listened to Pacey narrate it, and I would also read to kind of do a little bit of both. And let me tell you what, Pacey has the tendency to get a bit enthusiastic. In terms of the Blade itself, it is a slightly dark tale, but it's not too bad. This is pretty accessible to everybody. There is a little bit of domestic violence in here, so if you are completely uncomfortable with that, then I wouldn't recommend picking it up. But, I mean, if you can push past that, then by all means. It's got great character work. It's got a little bit lackluster of a story, though. And basically, I mean, I didn't have a problem with the story elements within this book. You know, it kind of takes place. The characters are just kind of doing their thing. It's more of a day in the life in the First Law world. And it's just kind of introducing you to everybody. I mean, there's a contest. There's some traveling in the woods. You know, all sorts of things. It's a very, I don't know what time period I would set this in. It feels almost Napoleonic to me, kind of on the cusp of maybe an industrial revolution. So that's kind of the type of world that we're looking at here. Moving on to Before They Are Hanged, which I believe is the best of the bunch. Right here, the plot really kind of sings. You get a lot of more great character work, and there is a moment in this where you just stand up and you are just so happy that a character did something, because it is, even though it's super dark, you can't help but just fist pump that, yes, you know, that needed to happen. You know, this book's very much, there's a siege in here. I'm not going to give any details further than that. This is at most a spoiler-free. I'll try to keep The Last Argument of Kings as spoiler-free as possible because I just finished it, but arguably I would say that this is the best of the bunch. Again, there is still many dark themes here. There's torture and just general grim darkness. We'll go ahead and call that a word. And then you come to The Last Argument of Kings. Arguably my least favorite book of the bunch. And typically I am looking for a really strong ending, and I don't feel that this was. A lot of the character development that you get in books 1 and 2, like, you get the character growth. You've got the character here, you get the character growth here, and then this book, all the character growth that happened in Before They Are Hanged reverts back to what it was in the Blade itself, and sometimes even further than where they originally started. Just the betrayals, the plots, There's a lot of mustache twirling in this that I didn't really like. There's a lot of self-praising that I didn't really like in here. The first, I would say 60 or 70% of it is actually fairly decent. But I'm just going to go ahead and say, anybody who played that old video game, Red Dead Redemption, you played this amazing game, and then at the very end, you got treated to just 4 hours of wrap-up, and then a shock moment. And that's kind of what the last 30% of this book felt like. You hit falling climax at 70%, you got your rising action and your falling action, and then like you feel like you've reached a good wrap-up point. And then I felt like Joe Abercrombie didn't realize he had so many plot threads that he needed to resolve, and so then just kept writing and kept writing and kept writing and kept writing right up until the point that I'm starting to wonder, when is this going to be done? It literally, he takes time to pull everything tight. He even, in the last 30%, does some things that I really don't, unless, because there is the sequel series and the standalone. There's the standalones, and then there's the Age of Madness that's currently having the last book drop, I believe, at the end of this year. So it could be that those elements are meant to drag you through. I don't know, I haven't read those. But all in all, the ending felt very bloated. I felt maybe we could have lost about 100 pages, 150 pages here, and I would have been chuffed to bits. I would have been happy. I would have been okay with that. Ultimately, this book brought down my opinion of the series from a 4.5 to like a 4 out of 5 to a 3 out of 5. Ultimately, I mean, the first two books are well worth your time. And this one takes the darkness a little further than I think it needed to go. There's just coercion, there's blackmail. The torture scenes get kind of repetitive. Ultimately, you do get to see Glokta, which is one of the main characters, just absolutely shine as a character in Last Argument of Kings. So that's also really enjoyable. But one of my biggest issues with the First Lost series is there are no good men. And not only that, there are no good people. There is nobody to really root for in this series, because they all kind of just suck in various ways. Nobody gets a happy ending here, except maybe Glokta. Glokta might get the happiest ending of all, and even then, it's not anything I'd wish on anybody. I mean, maybe, but it's still winning, air quotes winning. Like, he kind of won. Ultimately, you see characters who had the potential to be good people, and then they just get kicked down. And you realize, oh, Grand Master Plan, I was always in control. That might be a little bit of a spoiler, but this book brought down my rating of the series. If there are no good people and only the bad people win, then it is a very bleak world. And I honestly, I finished it feeling a little unfulfilled. Would I recommend the series? I would recommend giving it a try for sure. You might have completely different feelings depending on how desensitized to grimdark you are. I am a grimdark newbie. I am not used to grimdark. This is only my 5th book that I have read in the grimdark genre. That being said, I still would recommend trying the series because, like I said, the blade itself is really good, and Before They Are Hanged is also a enjoyable book. They have the perfect level of darkness, but it doesn't take it into the obscene. There is a little obscenity here in the Last Argument of Kings that I just didn't really sit well with me. One thing I have forgotten to mention is jokes abound. Even in all of the darkness, people are constantly cracking jokes about the darkness. So, I mean, if you like a good joke, kind of like it's like backhanded humor or gallows humor, which a lot of it really lands, so that is a plus for these series. So overall, should you read it? Maybe. It really depends on you as a reader. Great character work, good character development until, I mean, it backtracks, obviously. Great humor. I don't know. Honestly, I was a little dubious on it because Nico did a Why the First Law is Overrated video, and I'll go ahead and link that video in the description so you can give that a look as well. It is a good series. It is impeccably well written, and ultimately I think the decision to read it should be on you, but for me personally it fell a little flat, and the last book brought down the series overall. Those are my just kind of gut reaction in the moment thoughts, and I may, as time goes on, percolate a little bit and things might start clicking with me, but as of right now, that's kind of where I stand. So like always, like and subscribe if you like my content and you want to get regular updates on when I drop new videos, and leave a comment down below and let's have a good discussion. Till next time, peace out. Bye.